"You lied to me. My whole life is a lie because of you." Those were the last words Marcus Johnson ever spoke to his wife, Ebony Davis. And within seconds, the sound that followed was even more chilling. A scream, a crash, and then silence. What happened inside their suburban Houston apartment that night was brutal, intimate, and deeply tragic. A love story turned horror show. The kind of crime that leaves even seasoned detectives shaken. Because at its core, this wasn't just a murder. It was a slow-motion explosion, triggered by a truth buried for too long. Marcus Johnson and Ebony Davis looked like the dream couple, photogenic, successful, deeply in love. They had a condo in a quiet neighborhood in southeast Houston, a golden retriever named Luna, and matching Instagram bios that read, "Forever and always." From the outside, their life looked almost cinematic, but behind closed doors, something darker was building, a hidden truth, a silent tension, and a secret that would ultimately destroy them both. Marcus was the kind of man who followed the rules. Raised in a devout Baptist household in Baton Rouge, he moved to Houston in his early 20s to start fresh, determined to build a new life after a troubled adolescence. He got his degree in electrical engineering, landed a stable job at a local energy company, and met Ebony at a friend's birthday barbecue in 2018. He always said she had the kind of smile that could stop time. Ebony Davis was magnetic, tall, poised, elegant. She worked in interior design and carried herself like someone who had reinvented herself, because she had. Ebony had moved to Houston a few years earlier to escape a painful past, and with her charisma and grace, she built a new life from scratch. But she kept one thing guarded, hidden even from the man she married. Ebony was born male. She had transitioned years before meeting Marcus, undergoing hormone therapy, and later gender-affirming surgery. Her transition was not a phase, not a whim. It was a journey of survival, one marked by years of internal struggle, bullying, and ultimately self-acceptance. She told close friends, but she never told Marcus. Was it fear? Shame? A belief that the truth would cost her the life she'd built? Whatever the reason, that decision, not telling Marcus, would prove fatal. Their marriage was, by many accounts, loving. But in early 2023, cracks began to show. Friends noticed Marcus becoming withdrawn. He drank more. He snapped at small things. And then came the night everything unraveled. It started with a Facebook message, a name Marcus didn't recognize. The message was short, just a few lines. "You should know the truth about your wife. She's not who you think she is." At first, Marcus thought it was a sick joke, a troll. But the messages kept coming, and then came the photo. A blurry yearbook picture. A name Marcus had never heard before, Ezekiel Davis. The resemblance was undeniable. Ebony hadn't just kept a secret. She had rewritten her entire past. According to Marcus's attorneys, that was the moment something inside him broke. On the night of June 14th, 2023, neighbors reported hearing shouting. Marcus had confronted Ebony. The argument turned heated, and then violent. Police arrived at 11:42 p.m. to a grisly scene. Ebony was found in the living room, unresponsive. She had been beaten and strangled. The autopsy would later reveal over a dozen blunt force injuries to her head and torso. Marcus was found sitting on the floor, sobbing, covered in blood. "I loved her," he kept repeating. "She lied to me. She lied to me." The case stunned the Houston community and quickly drew national attention, because this wasn't just a murder. It was a collision of identity, betrayal, and rage. Supporters of Marcus painted him as a man pushed beyond the edge, deceived in the most intimate way. Others saw it differently, a hate crime, masked as heartbreak. The trial was brutal. Prosecutors portrayed Marcus as controlling, jealous, and possessive. They pointed out that Ebony hadn't hurt anyone. She had simply chosen not to share her past. That her decision wasn't a deception, it was protection. The defense leaned hard on the emotional angle. They called psychologists to the stand who testified about intimate deception trauma, claiming Marcus experienced a psychological break, an acute dissociative state, upon learning the truth. They painted him as a man betrayed, not inherently violent, but pushed to the edge by something he couldn't comprehend. But the jury didn't buy it. Marcus Johnson was convicted of first-degree murder on November 8, 2023. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In the courtroom, Ebony's mother wept as the verdict was read. Later, she gave a statement to reporters. "My daughter didn't deserve to die for being herself. She was brave, and she was loved, and that should have been enough." But the case didn't end there. Across the country, the trial sparked fierce debate about gender identity, about honesty in relationships, about whether keeping a part of your past hidden can ever justify violence. Talk shows, podcasts, news specials, everyone had an opinion. Some argued that Ebony should have told Marcus, that relationships require full transparency, especially about something so fundamental. Others countered that trans people don't owe anyone their history, especially if they're at risk of violence or rejection. But one fact remained. Ebony Davis was dead. A vibrant, beautiful woman whose only crime was wanting to be loved. And Marcus Johnson, once a man with everything, now sits in a prison cell, replaying the night his entire world collapsed. One secret, one confrontation, one irreversible act. It's easy to see this as just another tragic murder, but it's more than that. It's a cautionary tale about the fragility of trust, the complexity of identity, and how silence, when mixed with fear and rage, can explode into something monstrous. And in the end, no one wins. 2 lives destroyed, 2 families shattered, all because of one devastating truth. You lied to me. My whole life is a lie because of you. But was it? Or was the lie the idea that love can only survive when nothing is hidden? That might be the most dangerous illusion of all.